विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी तुल्यन्निजान्तर्गतं पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया यस्साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयं तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये बीजस्यान्तरिवाङ्कुरो जगदिदं प्राङ्निर्विकल्पं पुनः मायाकल्पितदेशकालकलना वैचित्रचित्रीकृतं मायावीव विजृम्भयत्यपि महायोगी वयस्वेच्छया तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नमः इदं श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै ॐ शान्तिः 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 सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् ॐ Verse 262 अप्रवेश्य चिदात्मानं पृथक् पश्यन्नहङ्कृतिम् इच्छास्तु कोटिवस्तूनि न बाधो ग्रन्थिभेदतः. So up to verse 246, beginning from verse 210, Vidyaranya talked about this Kutastha Brahma Aikyam. So it's basically Mahavakya is discussed. We discussed earlier Tatpada and Tvampada, and now it is Aikyam, Asipada. Now as a corollary, when we are discussing Kutastha Brahma Aikyam, then we also can derive one more thing also, that the Jiva and Ishvara basically are Mithya. Because they are from the standpoint, Jiva and Ishvara we accept from the standpoint of Upadhi. So, if we don't see the Mithyatva at Upadhi level, then there is a big problem. So, Jiva Ishvara Aikyam also Abheda, and from Upadhi level Jiva and Ishvara are Bheda also. Let us say Jiva means Kutastha and Ishvara means Brahman. Let us say like that. So Kutastha Brahma Aikyam, Abheda, and Jiva Ishvara means Upadhis are included, and there is a Bheda at the level of Jiva and Ishvara. From the standpoint of Upadhi, there is a Bheda. So there is a Bheda as well as a Bheda. And then basically question will be, why do you highlight Abheda, Aikyam, and not Bheda? After all, there is a darshanam, philosophy called Bheda Bhedavada also. So you are accepting, O Vedantin, Abheda from the standpoint of Kutastha and Brahman, and you are accepting Bheda from the standpoint of Jiva and Ishvara along with Upadhi. So there is a Bheda in your darshanam, and Abheda also is there. And then why you are only highlighting Abheda? You say Mahavakya only is the message of Upanishads and all, means Abheda alone is a message. Why should you say that? Because Bheda also you accept from Upadhi standpoint. So basically then we gave an answer that there is a Bheda and Abheda of course, but then we don't combine these two things. Reason is Abheda is Satyam and Bheda is Mithya. So we do accept existence of the Bheda at a Mithya level. And so since Jiva Ishwar Bheda is at Upadhi level, Upadhi is Mithya, and therefore Jivatvam and Ishwaratvam is Mithya. So Bheda itself is Mithya. So we don't count Bheda along with Abheda, which is Satyam. Mithya cannot be counted along with Satyam. And therefore, that is how we are highlighting Abheda. Because Bheda is basically Mithya. Bheda is due to Upadhi. Maya Upadhi, Avidya Upadhi. Well, Mithya, that is Mithya, because it is non-separate from the Brahman consciousness or Kutastha. And therefore it doesn't have its own existence. And therefore, well, the Upadhi itself is Mithya, Avidya or Maya. So the difference is based on Upadhi, called Jiva and Ishvara, also are Mithya. So Veda is Mithya, and therefore we don't count along with the Veda, which is Satyam, and so we highlight Abheda. So we don't have a basically Bheda Vedavada. Bheda Vedavada means Veda also is Satyam and Abheda also is Satyam, which is not the case. Anyway, so this is a difference in terms of a Vyavarika Drishti only. This is a Veda. There is Advaita Atma alone, and there is Aikyam at that level. So Satyam, Brahma Satyam, Jagat Mithya we say. So Jagat means this Dvaitam is Mithya. So this was completed in verse 246. This is a topic. From 210 to 246 is nothing but a Asipada of the Tattvamasi, basically. So Mahavakya only is under discussion, and Asi means Aikyam is under discussion. This is a topic between 210 to 246. Then from 247, well, a teacher handles some different problem of a student. Student complains that I have a clean knowledge. Well, but now through the Mahavakya, I have heard you, and so, well, that's correct. I am convinced Veda is Satyam, Veda is Mithya, everything. So I have clean knowledge now. But I don't seem to have that the result of the knowledge. Mukti is not there. I mean, I don't have courage to claim. Mukti is not there means I have a knowledge. I have a courage to claim the knowledge because clear. But I don't have a courage to claim the result of the knowledge. That's the thing. And that is the issue we see also. So there is some snag somewhere. Well, then teacher answers, well, this is because of the lack of this application of knowledge. Superficially, you are using the word I, even though we discussed this Mahavakya centered on I only, that I am is Brahman, that is equated with the Brahman, etc., which is Advaitam, which is Satyam, etc. But still you use the word I very loosely. And so, well, this Mukti and Bandha and everything, so I am bound. I have a knowledge and I am bound. Which I is bound? And so I am bound, I am free, etc. All this, well, basically you should first know that this Jnanam, well, gives a benefit to the, basically, a secondary benefit to the mind. This Mukti and Bandha are pertaining to the mind, not with the self. If self is ever free, self is not bound and self becomes free. It is not the case. Then still we talk about this Mukti or a bondage with reference to the mind. Because if ignorance is there and ignorance born notions are there, that is all bondage. So basically all the notions are making you say that I am a jiva or I am bound. So that is just in the mind, basically. So Mukti and Bandha both belongs to the mind. So we should first of all know that Jnanam gives a benefit to the mind in form of a secondary benefit. We do accept. Jivan Mukti is a benefit at the level of mind. Videha Mukti is a benefit at the level of Anatma, mind. Let's not say mind, Anatma. Mind, forget about it. Well, Mukti and Bandha, we say, well, they are there. I mean, Mukti, with Jivan Mukti and Videha Mukti, both are at the level of Anatma only. That's all. Because self is ever free. Self, its nature is freedom. And therefore, there is no question of that self was bound and self becomes free. In case of Atma, it is ever free. Still, we talk about this Mukti and then Bandha and everything with respect to Anatma only. And therefore, this is, so Jivan Mukti means, well, definitely certain benefits will be there at the level of mind and which has been described of a wise person. And there will be, other benefits also if you want to see, that, the reactions in terms of anger and greed, and all this jealousy and other things. So those benefits also you will see in the Jnani. But this also at the level of mind. These are all emotional benefits. I mean, benefits at the level of emotion. Emotional benefits, it's not fair to say. Benefits at the level of emotions, yeah. There will be a reduction in the in these reactions which come out. There will be always a reduction in frequency of the reactions, reduction in intensity of the reactions, and the recovery also is faster. Even if the person has got a vice person also, suppose he got angry, I will talk about it. But this, there will be at the level of mind, suppose this reactions arises, still there will be definitely frequency or intensity will be very less compared to a samsari, and he recovers also faster. These are all benefit in terms of a mukti, jivan mukti, at the level of mind only. And so this all benefits which are after gaining jnanam, of course, wisdom, at all the benefits at the mental level, well, that is called jivan mukti. And that is a byproduct of a atma jnanam. So we don't look upon them as a primary benefit of the jnanam. Worldly people are interested, of course, in that. And but that is not a benefit for me, I the atma, basically. It's basically, what Jivan Mukti, if we want to define in just two words, it is nothing but a refinement of the mind. Refinement of mind, really speaking. Because emotions, reactions would be less. Reactions are definitely all impurities, kama, krodha, etc. So those reactions will be very, very less. And therefore, we say it's a refinement of the mind. So Jivan Mukti is also a byproduct. Of course, Videhi Mukti also will be a byproduct. So mind and Anatma, etc., will continue to exist even after gaining knowledge until Prarabdha is exhausted. And this then Anatma will basically, the body, mind, senses, everything will merge into total Ishvara. And that is called Videhi Mukti. And we are saying on the basis of Upanishad. Upanishad only says this kind of a thing. And so, it is the Videhi Mukti also is a byproduct, and he enjoys a reduction in reactions, etc., anger and etc., all this at the level of mind. That is called Jivan Mukti. That also he enjoys. So both this at the level of a Anatma. Everything is happening at the level of a Anatma, which happens to be, unfortunately, Mithya. So therefore Jivan Mukti and Videhi Mukti are Mithya things, basically. And therefore always Upanishad sometime, they say, well, basically, where is the bondage and where is the mukti and all this, when they say, we literally get shocked that we are in a process of getting mukti, and Shastra says, where is mukti and where is bondage and where is a teacher and where is shishya? Na shasta, na shastram, na shishyo, na shiksha. Dasha Shloki say this. Na shasta, na shastram, na shishya, na shiksha. Shiksha means teaching, upadesha. And shishya, student. Shasta, teacher. And what is left over? Na Shasta, na Shastram. Scripture also is not. Now where is that? Mandukya also says like. So so we literally get baffled. Because Shastra is meant for Mukti, and then Mukti itself is negated. By negating Mukti, and they are negating you also, Bandha also. Everything is negated. Because that is from the standpoint of Atma, which is ever free. Ever free, whether you know it or not, whether you have sadhan chatushta sampatti or not, Atma, which is by nature free, means free. It is free. Knowing there is a benefit, otherwise there is no benefit. Anyway, so this Videhi Mukti means this micro merges into, this, of course, Anatma merges into the total. Well, that is macro also is Anatma, Samashti, total, Ishvara. So Jiva Sharira merges into Ishvara Sharira, Virat Sharira. Well, so gross merges into gross and subtle merges into subtle. All this we know. And whatever is that fragile Karana Sharira. One body is very fragile. Even though Jnani may be very young, but his one body is very fragile, and that is Karana Sharira. Avidya has gone, no Agami is there, all the Sanchita is burnt, there is no account holder, and therefore Karana Sharira, Basically, Vasana becomes Mithya. So Karana Sharira is very fragile, even though he may be a 40, 50-year-old from the standpoint of a gross body. So therefore, and definitely such a fragile Karana Sharira merges into the unmanifest mind. All the three, we have to account for all the three. Yeah, yeah. No, Karana Sharira remains. Then definitely Karya will come. And therefore, because this basically now he doesn't identify with the Karana Sharira also. Anyway, so whatever the Vasanas etc. are also there, they will be there. We are going to discuss that thing only. Never think about that the mind will be free from Vasanas. It is impossible. Vidyaranya is going to negate the whole thing. Anyway, and so it will be there. So Vasanas have to merge. They are all part of unmanifest. So it merges into this unmanifest Maya only. Sthula will merge into Sthula, subtle will merge into subtle body, I mean. Anyway, so Vidyaranya says at the level of mind, well, so these are all secondary benefits. What's the primary benefit? Suppose if you ask, then Vidyaranya says, well, at the level of a mind, desire becomes less, but not become zero. No perfect mind, no perfect. Since the perfect body is not there, perfect mind also cannot be there. Why? Dehatvat. So, if Sthula Sharira, this is a logic. Sthula Sharira is not perfect. There is no perfect Sthula Sharira. If you get a blood chart or whatever, something will be missing. And even if you don't miss there anything, everything is fine. Still there is missing inside something. And if you, so that is all the time there. So no perfect physical body. Then why there should be a perfect subtle body, being body. So this is our logic. Dehatvat. So if Sthula Sharira is not perfect, Sthula Shariram Apurnam, Dehatvat. Therefore Sukshma Shariram Apurnam, Dehatvat. And therefore, basically, so no perfect subtle body. Never expect. Somehow, I would like to share with you, most of our Vedantic students, very senior students, I mean, very senior, they always want a perfection at the level of a mind. And it doesn't happen. They work day and night with their own mind to make it a perfect or ideal condition they want to create in a mind in order to claim that I am a Jivan Mukta. Well, it doesn't arise. And they get frustrated. They get frustrated with the Shravanam. They get frustrated with the Nididhyasanam. I am a witness of many students. Well, so let us understand clearly. There is no perfect mind. And so, aim of a Vedantic student, of course, is not to identify with the perfect mind by claiming that I am not the mind, I am not the body, and that is the primary benefit. I am just a being. I am Atma. I am pure consciousness. And these are all just an appearances. This imperfect body, imperfect mind, imperfect senses, all will be imperfect and they are just appearance of me. Nothing more than that. And therefore I am not the mind, therefore I am not a perfect also in that way. Anyway, but that is primary benefit is I am not the mind, body, etc. And such a viveka from this ahankara, etc., well, is a primary benefit. Once you do a viveka at the level of ahankara and atma, well, then definitely this benefit you will be able to see. So I claim I don't have any limitation, in spite of limitation. I say that I don't have any limitation, and next moment you ask me a word, meaning of some word in Sanskritam, and I say I don't know. And then you say, where is the question of Swamiji, you don't know even this simple word, meaning also of a Sanskritam, and you say you are perfect. Yeah, I am perfect without that also. So, others definitely will wonder what is this. It's actually a contradiction, but it is not. So I claim I don't have any limitations. Others say that you get angry. You are getting Jnanam, you are studying Bhagavad Gita, you are studying Upanishad, you are studying Brahma Sutra, and you are getting angry. And I say they don't belong to me. Name dvesha ragau, name lobha moho. Please understand, people don't pay attention to such Nirvana Shatakam. If suppose, after gaining knowledge, suppose dvesha goes away, hatred goes away, jealousy goes away, Means they are totally absent now. Why should they negate? If anything becomes non-existent, I need not negate. Simple thing. Simple thing. This Nirvana Shatakam, it describes, I mean, let us say a Jnani is describing himself. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. But he says, Name Dvesha Ragav, this Dvesha and Raga, etc., are not in me. Means they are there. Prasaktasya Pratisheda. There is a rule. Prasaktasya Pratisheda. When there is an occasion, you negate. If something is there, then you negate. If something has been, totally non-existence, where is the question of negation? So you negate everything in Nirvana Shatakam shows that they are there at the level of Anatma. That's all. Nirvana Shatakam Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. Well, definitely, so all these things will remain. That's all. All these things will definitely remain. So since I detach from myself, from the mind, anger, etc., of course, one advantage is there. Yeah. So earlier I used to attach with the mind, and therefore, the anger also becomes very much. Now I detach from the mind, so anger automatically comes down. That will be there. Definitely it will be there. Once you say I'm not the mind, at that moment itself the anger comes down. Literally speaking, it comes down. But becomes free, totally free, non-existent. No, it won't happen. It won't happen. So basically I am not the problematic mind. Mind becomes free from many problems through knowledge, but it won't become free from all problems. So this is the meaning. So I am ever free from desire, etc. Now look at this shloka. We have of course seen partly this verse 262. Let us look again to this shloka. Apraveshya chidatmanam pruthak pashyan ahankritihi. Pruthak pashyan. Do discrimination. Pruthak pashyan means seeing. Seeing them separate. Means viveka. Discriminating between ahankriti, ahankara, and chidatma. So apraveshya. So I basically, apraveshya means I don't enter. Praveshya means entering. Apraveshya, not entering. So chidatmanam apraveshya pruthak pashyan ahankriti means I refuse to enter into the domain of ahankara. Ahankara is there, but I don't refuse to enter into domain of ahankaras. Means I say I am angry, I am having desire, etc. Well, I am not saying that. Means not using the word I loosely. Or even if you use in a vyavahara, you are clear in your mind through this discrimination between ahankara and atma. Otherwise you will say, I have a knowledge that I am Brahman, I am limitless, I am Purnaha, but I have still, Swamiji, I have a lot of desires. Means you don't know the difference between two I's. When you say I am Purnaha, well, that I definitely refers to Brahman, correct? But then you say, and the very next sentence you say, I am having desire, means that I has come from the Chidatma to Ahankara. And therefore, basically, do a Viveka, Pruthak Pashyan, seeing them differently, seeing one as a Mithya, other as a Satyam, seeing one as a basis of the other. So this is a criteria. So Ahankara has to, well, definitely, so look at Ahankara as Anatma. And ahankara has to undergo a certain kinds of pain also. So, prathak pashyan ahankritim, let ahankara may have desires. Let them have. That is all non-binding desires. They are there. Koti vastuni icchan, that's how Vidyaranya says. After seeing ahankara as separate from you, you seeing them as, seeing as it as an anatma, seeing it as a mithya, seeing is just an appearance of the atma only. Ahankara is nothing but an appearance of Atma. It comes out like a wave, comes out of the water and subsides. Same way Ahankara arises in that waking state, etc., and subsides in a deep sleep state. But I, the consciousness, which is the basis of all the avasthas, which is a witness consciousness, will be there all the time. And therefore that is Satya which cannot be negated. This is the consciousness which cannot be negated. And anyway, and in that ahankara, koti vastuni icchan, these desires will be there, several desires will be there, non-binding desires will be there. but it won't have any poison. So when I say, well, I want a house, etc., well, it's a legitimate desire, but there is no poison in that. But when you say, well, I want a security through that house, etc., well, that's a wrong desire. So, and that cannot be fulfilled. Why we say why we say this is not a legitimate desire? We should know this, because it cannot be fulfilled. Security through house, security through gold, security through money cannot be fulfilled. That's how we say it is not legitimate. So you want a house, well, fine, that is true. The body is been given to you and it is to be protected, and therefore, definitely. But then, well, no, because I want a house, because I am insecure and I want a security through that. Well, it is no more a source of a security. Actually, one should know. So therefore, desiring a house for security is an illegitimate desire. We call it as a binding desire. That binds the person all the time to the house, and to definitely to other things also, because he doesn't become secure through the house. So he adds some extra gadgets which may provide him a security, but doesn't happen. I told you at one place Puja Swamiji said, well, gold gives a security to a person who is always in the jaws of the death. So you understand now very well. Gold provides a security to a person who is all the time in the jaws of the death. Anyway, so this is how it is. So this is how, so non-binding desires may be there. And whereas in case of a jnani, but he doesn't connect, his wholeness or his security, his happiness, etc., on these objects, even though there is a desire. And therefore, for a jnani, well, even though he has a desire and he works for the fulfillment, but definitely his success and failure does not make any difference to him. I mean, the desire get fulfilled or does not get fulfilled doesn't make difference. He keeps on acting. That is what I'm seeing in a jnani. They keep on acting. Result does not make difference. They keep on acting to get a desired result. Please understand. They have a desire. To fulfill desire only they act. They want the desire to be fulfilled. But if it does not get fulfilled, still they keep on acting. That is what the thing is. It may be Bhashyakara or it may be other acharyas. You will see this in their lives. So, even he may want to establish ashramas, or still that desire is there, but it's a non-binding desire, because their wholeness, well, is not dependent upon that. So, koti vastuni icchan na badha. Even they desire several things, koti vastuni, na badha. There is no problem at all. Why? Granthi bedataha. Well, knocked this granthi, Beda means knocked out or destroyed, etc. And we have seen granthi. Granthi means a transference of a dharma of an anatma upon atma. Because ultimately it is through superimposition. They get a channel, right? So atma, anatmas, dharma are superimposed upon atma, and therefore they appear in atma now. And so basically this granthi, which will, due to superimposition of anatma upon atma, well, you will have a notion that I am mind, I have a desire, I am angry, etc., whatever. So this is all granthi. So granthi means we have to take two things here. First thing is the the connection between atma and anatma means superimposition of anatma and dharma of anatma upon atma, and due to that a notion arises in the mind that I am angry, I am having desire, I am jealous, etc., whatever. So that notion also is a granthi, and that superimposition which is responsible for that notion also is called granthi. So we should know this. Granthi means a knot. Knot means two things are tied together, and here it is an atma and anatma. Through superimposition they are tied as though. And then mithya, this notion arises also centered on self. That is also granthi. Bedataha, when they are destroyed. Therefore, this koti vastuni icchannapi nabadha. There is no problem at all. So I am desire free. That is how one of the Lord's name in our Krishna Puja, if you see, there are two names of Lord Krishna, and both are really contradictory. One is a Nitya Brahmacharine Namaha, Another is a Shodashastri Sahasreshaya Namaha. One who has wedded to this 16,000 wives. And and the other is a Nitya Brahmacharine Namaha. Well, how they both go together. So he is not connected to any wife, of course, anyway. I mean, even any Grihastha Jnani also can say like that. So anyway, whenever I complain, of course, definitely it is then we are not clear about this that this belongs to mind. So it's based on, of course, imperfection of the mind only. We are superimposing. We are complaining, and we are superimposing the dharma of the mind upon me. So, you when you complain about, you say I have a knowledge, and yet you complain about that you don't have any result. Definitely, in my mind, this one thing is there that we expect that our mind should be very perfect, and this is not going to happen. Mind will have eternal problems, and even after thousands of janma also. So, and a person will eternally wait for the moksha, even though it is nitya siddha. It is right there. So only thing is Granthi Bheda is very, very important. Granthi Bheda means basically stop superimposing upon of dharma of minds, etc. upon the self. Claim that you are free here and now. That's only a freedom. He is going to tell that also, something more about this. Verse 263. ग्रन्थिभेदेऽपि सम्भाव्याः इच्छाः प्रारब्धदोषतः बुद्ध्वापि पापबाहुल्यात् असन्तोषो यथा तव. So ग्रन्थिभेदे अपि, destroying these notions, well, so destroying all this definitely it presupposes stopping superimposing of dharma of anatma upon atma, means there is atma and atma viveka one has done, means one who has a knowledge. So Granthi Beda now onwards, I will take it as a jnanam. So Granthi Bede api means even after this gaining jnanam, well, even though it is there, api, mind will continue to have problems. Just as a body has to go through the prarabdha even after the jnanam, well, mind also, he is going to some other fact. He is going to talk about some other factor why mind behaves in a certain way. So he says, even one gains jnanam, one's own body, physical body, has to go through the prarabdha. Well, same way, even after gaining jnanam, the subtle body, the mind, well, also has to go through the prarabdha. And then he says now, see, even after gaining jnanam, well, Jnani can never be the same in terms of his responses and everything. Only Atma is ever same, right? So, Samam, Nirdosham is Samam Brahma. Atma is ever same. Mind can never be the same because mind is under the grip of a prarabdha. This body can never be the same. Like some people say, wise person, how come a wise person gains a illness? that is not a criteria. Because ultimately, jnana has nothing to do with the prarabdha. Nothing to do with the prarabdha means prarabdha will keep on doing its own work. What is in the grip of a prarabdha is anatma, this body, both the bodies, including subtle body. We have seen that also, that is also satkarma janyam. If you remember in Tattvabodha, it has been told as a satkarma janyam, sukshma shariram. Anyway, we don't want to discuss now, but that is in prarabdha. So even after gaining knowledge, the jnanis, this physical body act by the prarabdha. Same way the subtle body, the mind also will never be the same. It is always under the grip of prarabdha, and therefore definitely, and mind being having all the three gunas, malina sattva, and therefore all the three gunas play their own role. Sometimes tamo guna, sometimes rajo guna, sometimes sattva guna, etc. And that is what Bhagavan also said in third chapter in Bhagavad Gita. Sadrisham cheshtate swasyaha prakrutehe jnanavan api. Jnanavan, who is a jnani, well, he also, well, his mind definitely. Prakrutehe swasyaha prakrutehe. Well, his mind, his swabhava actually. Prakriti means his swabhava, but that is mind only. His mind or his svabhava, definitely, according to his mind, while jnanavan cheshtate, jnanavan does all activity in keeping with his own svabhava. So, and therefore, two jnanis, even though both know the same Atma, well, they have one Atma alone, right? But still, their behaviors are very different because they all go by their prakriti, by sabhava. Sabhava is nothing but the mindset which has come along with. Prakriti means which comes along with by the nature, by from the birth. Well, they go by like they go based on that. And so Gnani's behavior is always governed by the svabhava of the mind, which has got a different gunas and different compositions. Gunas composition also differ. So all Jnanis behave differently. And that's how Tapovan Maharaj behaved in one way, Raman Maharshi behaved in a different way, Shankaracharya behaved in the third way, and there are other Jnanis, several Jnanis are there, several, a whole big list, and a big picture also is there, several Jnanis you will see. And from their face only you can understand that this Jnani must not have liked any person near. Shankaracharya moved with all people all the time. All the time. Keep moving, but not alone. At least 4 disciples were there. And whenever he goes in that king's, that court and everywhere, thousands of people around. And well, Raman Maharshi different, and this Tapovan Maharajji also different. Some Jnanis don't move with the people. Some Jnanis will move with the people. And the people, onlookers, not understanding properly what is anatma, what is atma, etc., they are baffled. Not baffled, they have lost their faith in the knowledge. I'm telling you. So, well, this is a jnani, he is throwing a stone. Somebody said to me, in Gangotri when Mahatma was there, if anybody goes near to him, he throws a stone. How can he be jnani? This is how he is. So, Jnanam has nothing to do with your sabhava. And people always look upon the sabhava. General qualities will be there, but that is also at the level of mind. Adveshta sarvabhutanam maitraha karunaha eva, etc. This is there. But some Jnanis just don't like anybody. Tapovan Maharaj did not like anybody to move with. So this is how they are. Anyway. So, Jnanam is not different in a different Jnanis, only their sabhava will determine their behavior, etc. Anyway, so, and that is how even our Chinmayanji Maharaj also has written about Shankaracharya. Shankara the missionary. Definitely, missionary means, oh my God, he was all the time traveling and propagating and all that, and then because he wants to revive this Sanatan Dharma, right? After the attack of this Buddhist and etc. Vedic Dharma he wanted to revive. And so, all the time traveling and propagating and talking and everything. So, anyway, so this is what I mean is basically this desire etc. also will be there in the mind of a jnani and accordingly they behave. And so, Sabhava is determined by what? Very nicely Acharya says, Prarabdha doshataha. Prarabdha doshataha means prarabdha sambandhena. So, Sabhava is determined by the connection with the prarabdha. Sabhava belongs to the mind. Mind is connected to prarabdha and therefore Sabhava is controlled by the prarabdha. So, Jnani also can have desire. And well, other does not want to do anything. Other Jnanis, well, that is his desire. His desire is, Raman Maharshi's desire is what? Tapovan Maharaj's desire is what? I don't want to do anything. That is the desire. And Shankaracharya wants to do everything. So, Ichchaha sambhavyaha. Desires are possible. Sambhavyaha. Desires are possible in a Jnani due to prarabdha doshena. Dosha means here sambandha. Due to connection with the prarabdha. We should understand desire arises where? Atma is a source of a desire or a mind is a source of desire. Think of it. Mind is a source of desire, while mind then definitely, which is a subtle body, which is in the grip of a prarabdha. And therefore, basically, if binding desires are there, then it's a different thing. Then the ajnanam is a source. Yeah. let me make it clear. Ajnanam is the janani for a binding desires. Because from ajnanam, a sense of limitation arises, a sense of individuality arises. And so you feel limited, which is not your nature. And therefore, there will be a constant, there will be a struggle in order to get rid of this limitation. It results into a desire to become free from the limitations. That will result into different karmas. So desire of a ajnani, definitely ajnanam is a source. Definitely, that's a binding desire because he wants to. He can't remain. He wants to become free from the sense of limitation. Whereas jnani is that thing has gone already. He knows he is limitless and still desire arises. Then there is another source. That's prarabdha. That's how Loka Sangra, etc. We have discussed also in third chapter. Jnanis basically get so many desires based on his prarabdha. So this this important condition we have to add for the desire. Well, that Jnani has all desire, of course, ichhaha sambhavyaha. Desires are possible, but they are basically dharmic desires, so non-binding desires. And they are not, and he does not act upon his desires for fulfillment. It is out of fulfillment, and that is very nicely said in the third chapter. Naivatasya kritenarthaha na kriteneha kashyana, etc., etc. And the other one is sakta karmani avidvamsaha yatha kurvanti bharata kuryad vidvan tatha saktah chikirshur loka sangraham. Basically, so very nicely said. Bhagavan gave his own example, in fact. That I have nothing to achieve, still I do a lot of karma, and it presupposes all desires also. And therefore, that desires are possible. We should understand they are non-binding desires. So, the person who is busy does not mean he is bound. Busy is not a baddha. Therefore, the person who is busy, he need not be bound. Active, he is very active, yet he is liberated. One who is active may be bound also. One who is a passive also may be bound. Yeah, out of tamoguna. He doesn't work because he doesn't have that zeal to act upon. There is no encouragement in his life. So passively bound, and actively liberated. All the things are possible. All the things. And even the Acharya says, actively bound. What is an example? Acharya says, student is an example. He says, buddhva api, even after gaining knowledge, atma jnanam, papa bahulyat, because of this force of prarabdha, abundance of prarabdha. Bahulyam is an abstract noun from the word bahulam. Bahulam means abundant, and bahulyam abundance. So buddhvapi papa bahulyat, even after gaining atma jnanam, because of this force of the prarabdha papam, etc., yatha tava asantosha, your sabhava has a asantosha, incompleteness of the mind. So basically, then how is it possible? So that's how we are saying, don't connect your mind, or don't superimpose the dharmas of the mind and the mind, dharmi and dharma, both, upon the self. Dissociate yourself from the mind. Dissociate means here in terms of a knowledge, understand them as a mithya. So first claim that I am free, and then you will not have any complaint. Asantosha means complaint, etc. That won't be there. Now 264. Ahankaragate chhadyaihi dehavyadhadibhistatha vrukshadi janmana shairva chidrupatmani kim bhavet. He says at anatma level, basically imperfections are everywhere. We don't have a single example for a perfect anatma, perfect mind. So far as the entire anatma prapancha is concerned, nothing is perfect. So you can extend the same thing to mind also, because that is also anatma. Chidrupa atmani kim bhavet. So basically, what does it make a difference to this atma? Let the anatma be imperfect. What does it make a difference to this Atma, which is consciousness, which is limitless. What does it make? Means that it doesn't make any difference. Here it's not a question, it's an akshepa we call. And its answer is no. What does it make a difference to the Atma, which is pure consciousness, limitless? It doesn't make any difference, even though Anatma is imperfect. So, or we can say what happens to moksha? Well, which is in the form of this Chidatma only. So basically, I am free, I was free, and I will be ever free. And Acharya gives a very beautiful example. Vrukshadi janma nashaihiva. So, when in this outside world, well, several trees, vrukshadi, something else also can take. So, in this external world, several trees, well, they come and go. Same way, here all, I mean, cutting or basically, or because of some other kind of a cyclone or what. So, trees have come up and they just die away also due to various reasons. What does it make a difference? Like that. So, vrukshadi janma nashaihiva. Same way, it means why example of Vruksha is given? Because it's anatma basically. Inside an external world, well, these things keep on happening. Similarly, deha vyadhadi bihi, well, you come closer compared to Vruksha, you come closer to this now. Dehadi, vyadhyadi bihi, deha etc. Well, has also the vyadhyadi. Vyadhyadi means vyadhi etc. So they say three things for this physical body, which applies to the subtle body also. Growing, graying and going. So these three things are there. Growing. Mind also grows. I can compare to the child's mind. Naturally, young has a grown mind. And then graying also. It applies to mind also. And then going also. Anyway, so due to imperfection of the body, well, these things keep on happening in this body, etc., mind, etc. So, will you say that I am Apurna Atma? Well, I am imperfect Atma because they are imperfect. Will you say that? So, having given these two examples of a Vruksha and of a Deha, etc., then he comes to mind, the subtle body. That at mental level also, well, lot of improvement you can do, still it can't be perfect. Aida Atma is never bound. So, ahankara gata ichchadhyaihi. Ahankara gata prapt. So, desire which is etc., which is available at the level of ahankara, which is available at the level of mind. Well, another ichchadhyaihi, ichcha etc. means other emotional conditions of the mind. Well, they are there in the mind or at the level of ahankara, they are there, but definitely it doesn't affect the Atma. So even suppose a Jnani person is there, let us say some sannyasi is there. Some tragic news come, and somebody is making him aware of this tragic news. And certainly mind of a Jnani definitely expresses a compassion and share a grief also. Even shoka vritti also is there. It is not that he is making a show. Adveshta sarva bhutanam maitraha karunaha. So compassion definitely arises. Shoka vritti arises in his mind. And very interesting thing is, suppose if after 5 minutes, if somebody comes with invitation of a wedding, etc., and then definitely the person needs another response. Other person, well, then he has to share the happiness also. So mind undergoes varieties of the conditions. Well, but like they compare it with the crystal. When it is surrounded by various flowers of various colors. So accordingly, the crystal appears red and blue and etc. etc. Same way, Jnani's mind also undergoes varieties of the moods. But being a Jnani, he knows I am not the mind. So he will not say I am now grieving. He won't say. Definitely not. And so he says this all belongs to Anatma. I am Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahma. I am Asanga. So and all people will go, both the types of people who are giving a tragic news or who are giving some good news. Well, he says I am Asanga. I am free from this. I am crystal. I am not colored by any color. So this is how they say in Rome you become a Roman. So anyway, this is This is just by the way. So Jnani's mind also is made up of these three gunas, like Ajnani's. And there will be a fluctuation in his Jnani's mind, where it is told in the 14th chapter. Bhagavan said that in the first verse itself, Prakashancha pravrittincha mohamevacha pandava. Well, nadveshti sampravruttani na nivruttani kankshati. Prakasham, sattva pravrittim, rajoguna, moham, tamoguna. Prakashancha pravrittimcha mohameva. All arises in the Jnani's mind according to the guna, because Malin Sattva, mind. So those gunas arises when the karya of the guna arises. Nadveshti sampravruttani. When they arise, then they become active. Nadveshti. It does not basically hate. Oh, why such a vritti? No. Na nivruttani kankshati. He doesn't want to get rid of that vritti also, because it's mithya. So it shows, Bhagavan also says this thing will arise. Varieties of the Rajoguna means some kind of a, due to activity, etc. Well, it may appear, a little disturbance in a mind may appear. Or Tamoguna, effect of Tamoguna, dullness also may come sometime. Prakasham, Sattvaguna's effect also will be there. But Jnani is a Gunatita, well, but he understands his mind is not Gunatita. That's what it is. And therefore, he won't complain that I am having Jnanam, yet I have desire, yet I have anger, yet I have this. He won't complain, even though these vrittis arise. That's what he says. So, I am a Chidrupa Atma, just pure consciousness. Kim Bhavet? Well, nothing happens. Kim Bhavet means what will happen to this me, which is free from all these gunas? Nothing happens. That's what we have to say. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.